£19,000 worth of trousers and glasses. Well, this isn't really big time corruption, but corruption is built into the parliamentary system. All we needed to know is in the years that Keir Starmer, very short time, admittedly, has been in charge of the Labour Party, what you've had is the courtship of the city, courtship of big business men in the main, and money flowing into the shadow cabinet and now the cabinet, and basically buying access of ministers and prime ministers. So in terms of Victoria Starmer, for example, I don't know how much her frocks cost. I don't really know, 500,000 quid. She not only gets a frock, she also gets someone who goes out and buys it for her. This is Lord Ali, who's paying for that. But for every Lord Ali, there will be dozens of others like him that are buying favors and buying influence. And the story that we've been, that's been dominating the news, quite incredible, is the Sue Gray, the advisor, the former civil servant who's in charge of, staff in Downing Street, and the clashes between her and other Downing Street personnel. And the clashes seem to be over, well, they aren't, are they? That she gets paid more than the Prime Minister. Well, loads of civil servants get paid more than the Prime Minister. Interestingly, some journalist investigated the journalist who blew the story, and it turns out that he gets paid more than the Prime Minister. So this isn't about the Prime Minister. It's about the sense of entitlement to this class or caste professional politicians, those inside the ministries, but also those clamoring to become MPs and clamoring to become ministers. And they've devoted, haven't they, years as graduates and years as, slumming it, in terms of special advice. And they're basically demanding it's our time to get our snouts in the trough. And so the complaint really isn't so much that Sue Gray gets paid so much. She doesn't actually. It's that they get, comparatively speaking, certainly what they feel they deserve is they get paid too little. Well, the system works, in Britain at least, on not extraordinary levels of pay for professional politicians. It works on the basis if you do your service, you then get your reward. You get your reward after you've left office. So you get onto the board of, I don't know, this top bank or this top company. Just look at, Google. Either way, people like Blair nowadays is not just a multi-millionaire. I'm not saying he's a billionaire, but he will be worth tens of millions. And it's that sort of lifestyle that these people, these professional politicians, basically view as their birthright. So in terms of this new Labour government, it's no different. Of course, it's no different to the last Tory government. It's just that in terms of the last Tory government, it was in office long enough for scandals to accumulate. This government, clearly, the scandals will accumulate, because we're dealing with a class or caste of professional politicians who are not in it. I know I'm not telling anyone here anything new. They're not in it for you and me. And I don't mean you and me as you and me. I mean you and me as ordinary punters, ordinary voters. No, they're in it for themselves. They are self-serving, self-interested as a caste, in the same way that if you take professional footballers, they are not the same as your average fan. So you play football for Spurs 1 month, and then you get transferred and you will play against Spurs the month after. That's the norm. I'm not saying in Britain we see politicians swap and swap about in that way. Nevertheless, the point is there.